business. People bear witness. Thank you for letting us be ourselves.
Welcome to the last leg of today's coverage of the London 2012 Paralympic Games on a day where records smashed, wheelchairs crashed, and we had one last splash. As always, I'm joined on the couch by Dartmoor under-10 bagpipe provocateur Josh Widdicombe and a man that not only moves like Jagger but will soon be round his house for a cup of tea, Alex Brooker. Now, yeah, I think it's fair to say we've been in a weird little bubble here making the show for the past couple of weeks. We weren't really sure if people were watching or what they were thinking. We were getting a lot of stuff on Twitter.
We were hoping people were watching.
We were hoping people were watching.
We've been in a very awkward situation if we'd come out and there'd been no one watching for 10 days.
I'd have been all right with it.
Well, I'm glad you were.
But you guys went out into the park today, had a bit of a look around in Olympic Park. What happened?
We decided to go and watch Ellie Simmonds in the swimming.
Yeah.
And we thought, oh, we'll just get one of those little buggies across.
Yeah.
And it turned into a kind of hard day's night situation. It was very awkward.
You guys were mobbed in the Olympic Park?
I wouldn't go that far, but someone offered Alex a high five.
Sort of, we were just sitting there waiting to go, and some guy just comes running over, and he's like, "Is it okay to get a high five with you?" And just sort of slapped my hand. I was like, well, there's your answer, mate. But I do kind of wish I'd have just pretended to be offended and gone, "No, it's not. Go away."
My favourite person was the person that shouted out, "Hey guys, I love the final leg."
And look, we were in the athletes' village today. I was approached by one of the Spanish athletes, one of the swimmers, who said every night at the end of their swim meet, they go back, they're exhausted, they sit down, they watch the last leg, they have a laugh. We know for a fact that the US wheelchair rugby team were breaking their curfew every night to watch the show.
And what happened to them today?
They lost today.
No, don't share that. They're watching. They're going to have you.
We love the fact that you've been watching, guys, and we were cheering for you today as well. So, we all feel your pain as well. Listen, tonight on the show, we'll be recapping some of our favourite moments, including a man that got ahead of himself.
Just confuses.
A man that showed a lot of himself. And a man that gave all of himself. Oh. Plus, we'll be joined by a cavalcade of presenters and Paralympians and maybe even a TV star in an hour-long send-off for the last leg. First, though, let's recap today's athletics action. And Oscar Pistorius came to the track without an individual gold medal to his name from these games. Tonight, he lined up against his controversial foe, Alan Oliveira, in the 400 metres. He went in as favourite. Here's what happened.
Very quickly out of the blocks, Pistorius. He's absolutely haired out of the blocks, closed right up on Oliveira, but now down the back straight. How will Oliveira be able to respond? It's Pistorius who leads. Prince going well on the outside, also Blake Leaper. Now Oliveira is starting to come back, but Pistorius has the lead. Can the Brazilian keep his form around this second bend? But Pistorius is going away. He's putting distance between himself and Oliveira, and Oscar Pistorius, the greatest Paralympic athlete of all time, is going to take this gold medal. He's in a different league, and Oliveira is tying up. People are standing up, cheering, flashlights going all around the stadium, and Oscar Pistorius is the Paralympic champion of 2012 in London.
Look, if you had to have written a narrative for Oscar Pistorius at the beginning of the Games, that's how it would have gone. Beaten, controversially beaten, the English hope wins the 100 metres, and then on the final night, the man that everyone associates with Paralympic sport comes good and wins a gold medal. Just an amazing race. Amazing race.
He deserved that.
He completely deserved that. Well played, Oscar, and if we have a chance, we will show you some of the medal ceremony a little bit later on in the show. All right, it's time to get into the Is It OKs. Now, if you've been watching over the past couple of weeks, people have been tweeting in questions that they want to ask. They're not sure if they're allowed to. We have our final batch tonight, including one from @Darren Jallan that said, "Is it okay that a show about the Paralympics makes its audience stand?"
I mean, we don't make... It would be much more offensive if we put them all in wheelchairs.
Yes, it would be.
That would be a lot worse.
And a lot of people were saying, is it okay to actually say, would you please stand for the national anthem? But all of the announcers said, for those who are able, would you please stand for the national anthem at all of the events? So, you know, they weren't being ignorant. Alex, have you got one?
Yep. At the Marketech tweeted and say, is it okay to be considering chopping off my left hand, in brackets I'm right-handed, to enable me to enter the Paralympics in Rio? Well, the Marketech, you could do that, but I'd probably suggest that you get good at a sport first, because just turning up in Rio and going, here, this is missing, isn't going to qualify you for Great Britain.
Josh?
Yeah, we've got one at Rob Moriarty. Is it okay when being introduced to a quad athlete to try and shake their hand when they can't?
Well, I think it'd be worse if you patted them on the head, wouldn't it?
Well, you're a hand issues expert.
Yeah.
You're our hand issues expert.
Oh, as I've always wanted to be described.
What's the protocol? If you see someone with, like, a stump, do you shake it? What do you do?
I just go for a cuddle.
Oh, that's nice.
But you're far too quick to move in for the cuddle.
Yeah, I am. I'm easy on that front.
I think, and if you are genuinely, like, I met a few, there's Ahmed Kelly is one of the Australian athletes who's lost both his limbs above the elbow. And I met him today, and I've heard a lot about him in Australia, and I was really excited to meet him, and I kind of went, do I? And then he offered the stump, and I went, yes, I do.
And he was just pointing. It was very awkward. I find it difficult enough if someone's got full use of their arms. You don't know to go in for the kiss. I just find it difficult meeting anyone.
Don't kiss the stump.
Don't kiss the stump.
No, just shake it first.
I'm glad you said that.
No.
That would have been very awkward.
Good to know. Alex, have you got another one?
Yep, at Emma Tabor asked, is it okay to steal your friend's fake leg on the beach to play rounders? Well, I mean, you could do, but your mate's going to have a really bad time, aren't they? They're not going to be able to join in.
No.
Do you know what? I'm going to say this is, out of all the ones we've had, this is the first, no, it's not okay. No, do not ever steal someone's prosthetic
Which is awkward because it's the first one I've actually done.
And Josh, bring us home.
At Music 108, is it okay to ask if you break in a new leg like you do with a pair of shoes?
Yeah, well, Alex and I both have prosthetic feet, and I think we'd both say yes.
Yeah, it's like when you're in the shop, isn't it, and you walk around in them a little bit before you take it home.
Yeah.
I do that all the time.
Do you know what I find when
Do you have a fitting where you'll do that walk that you do in a shop?
Yeah, with little barriers down the side. It's like a catwalk, but just with loads of people without legs in there.
It's like a catwalk for really drunk models. It could teetle over at any time. Do you know what I find whenever I get a new prosthetic foot? It's always a lot springier, like it's got a lot more resistance. So I find I accidentally drive home faster. Yeah. Seriously, because that foot goes.
Is that what you tell the police officer? Sorry, I've just got a new prosthetic foot. That's why I was doing 80 in a 30 zone.
The first time I start walking on it as well, you get home and you forget, or you get up out of a chair and you forget you've got a springier foot. And I find one leg just really goes ahead further than the other.
Yeah.
What do you mean springy? Is it spring? It's not spring.
Well, no, but the more you push
not like a
down
wind-up
on it,
toy.
the more you push down on your foot, the more it springs back. That's why Oscar Pistorius is better over long distances, because from the start he's got no force going down on it. But the harder he hits it, the more it springs off.
So if he did the marathon, by the end he'd be going at like 400 miles. The last mile would just be 2 steps.
I think we've covered all of the questions we possibly could over the Paralympics. Now listen, time flies when you're having fun. We've had so much fun, we're finding it hard to believe we're at the end. So tonight, we're going to be looking back at the moments that had us on the edge of our seats and the ones that had us giggling on the floor. We'll start with the first 3 days.